Zev is funded by viewers like you. Support our independent journalism at patreon.com/narrative.
Wasn't in the Havana room, and I wasn't in the back behind the curtain with the fat guy Kislyak and the other trolls and Lavrov and his big ass head and the Ukrainian peace plan and Kalimnik and Paul Manafort given. I wasn't there for that. But on January 6th, I sat and watched my fellow Americans besiege the Capitol leading up to January 6th because I have something called YouTube. This double secret Glomar thing. I had YouTube, and I could watch Roger Stone, and I could watch, not Paul Manafort, Giuliani. I could watch these guys, and Mike Flynn. And now it's what they're doing. I saw the people with the T-shirts. We learned then right after it. We learned about Ginny Thomas paying for busloads of people to be coming in. We watched Josh Hawley with his fist up. We watched them orchestrate this whole thing, and we watched a gallows get constructed on our Capitol grounds. I didn't see the defecation spreading on the walls. That's probably the only thing we didn't really bear witness to. But we saw it. We experienced this. This happened to us. This happened to us. So come out and talk to us. You don't have to spoil anything simply by coming out and giving a weekly address to the American people about the most dangerous and serious thing that ever happened to. Holy shit, this happened to us.
Yeah,
right.
Never had
Same thing for just come and talk to us. That doesn't mean you're spoiling anything. And certainly, if there is going to be a message coming out of leadership, whether it's the Department of Justice or whether it's our administration now, that message should not be, yeah, we're just going to move on and we just need to keep moving on. Holy shit.
So they would say,
and this, I want to say this. Let me say this while my ancestor is behind me. I got the ancestors all around me. Let them hear it. Okay? Who built this nation. People want to come for ancestry and come for family and come for lineage. You come up against mine. Good luck. We've been in there from the beginning building this shit here. Okay? I remember, because I'm older than you guys, not by a lot, but I am older than you. And that made a difference in childhood in that I remember distinctly when Nixon was pardoned by Ford and he was let off. I remember what happened in my house with my parents and that outrage. It was such a profound moment for me as a child. And I remember it from my grandparents. And I just, look, that was an unacceptable thing that man was not held accountable. It was a huge mistake. The people who knew that it was a huge mistake knew it in the moment. I don't even think the folks that really understood that actually ever got over that. If this administration, if this House, if this Senate, and if this Department of Justice believe that they're going to be able to just round up a bunch of radicalized knuckle draggers and throw them into prison on, you trespassed, and not go after the generals and not go after the leaders and not hold people accountable because they think it's too fucking difficult for this nation to survive or to get through. What I saw in my house, what I remember as a child, the outrage around Nixon just getting pardoned, I think across this nation, you're going to see a reaction to that. You want to be afraid of that because that's a self-destructive act. That's a self-destructive act for everyone in a position of leadership to actually go along with something like we're not going to hold the leaders of that insurrection responsible for the insurrection. That somehow that would be more difficult for a nation than it would be to prosecute them and bring them to justice and make sure that we rectify that incredible wound that they inflicted on us. Holy cow.
I just showed you one of the Oath Keepers with Roger Stone that morning.
Wake up!
In that morning, they were together.
This is the wokeness. I don't want to hear about wokeness if these people are in a state of denial to where they think that we have not been paying attention to every single detail along the way. We know every single detail of what's going on. We have been digging it up ourselves because it's not really coming at us from you, because there's no leadership from the Hill, because there's no one talking to us. in a meaningful way on a regular basis of what's going down at the Department of Justice. So we're keeping track of it all. We're spending our time, our energy, our money, our faces in our voices and our names and our reputations on platforms like this to continue to try to look at this and to understand what happened to us. Do not think that is a little thing that's going to just go away because we have to heal or something. That's not healing. That's not healing. I don't know how to shake them up. I don't know how to shake these Dems up. Holy cow, they better wake up, because not everything's just going to be Eric Swalwell chasing Mo Brooks around trying to get him into a court of law. If that's what we're reduced to some level of accountability from the leadership role, the political leadership role, and even our military leaders, I am concerned about the Pentagon's role. I'm concerned about that, about Mike Flynn's brother. I am. What role did they have in that insurrection? You can't just round up the people who were radicalized and think that we somehow think there's a victimization card that they're going to be able to play in that as well, and not bring in the generals and not bring in the planners and not bring in the leaders and not bring in the tactical folks that you were pointing out, Zev. They're getting some of them.
They're getting these guys, but they're not getting Roger Stone, and they're not getting Alex Jones, and they're not getting Michael Flynn. And those are the people that should be out there, because those are the people who ultimately put this all together. And so did Donald Trump. And it's provable that Donald Trump was involved in organizing this way, way back. And the Stuart Rhodes guy, clearly he is still in contact with that entire Tea Party movement that launched all of this, that Ron Paul and Rand Paul gave the world. That's the Tea Party. Right. They gave him that. And out of that came January the 6th. And Stuart Rhodes is the guy orchestrating this whole thing. And you talk about the military, he's going in there and recruiting current military officials and soldiers, and he's enlisting them into this movement, which he claims is to protect the Constitution. But on the other hand, he feels like he can have an insurrection and storm the Capitol on January the 6th. These people are they're all going to get off, I think, to a large extent. 5 people and 2 more, right, that perished afterwards, right? And it's a total of 5 was the total. And defecate.
And
but even regardless of all of that, even if they didn't,
and how many are wounded? How many Capitol Police are wounded? And try to disrupt our democratic process. They attack the democratic process.
That's the thing that I keep getting to. They try to overthrow the government. They try to take the legal vote.
Overthrow the government.
They try to overthrow the government and change the election result. So instead of Joe Biden right now, who's been doing pretty good job thanks to the will of the people, we would have Donald Trump in there right now if these people had their way. It's not, and also under some sort of military rule. It's the most significant thing that's probably happened to America since, I don't know, the Civil War, probably. I can't think of anything that's been as momentous in terms of it being a challenge to the Constitution. And all these representatives sitting in the House who have to swear allegiance to the Constitution. They get in there, they do the oath, they raise their arm, they say this thing. They're all supporting this coup. They're supporting the overthrow of the government by hiding it, by having a cover-up. Why they're covering it up? They're covering it up because they are themselves involved in an unconstitutional crime.
Yeah, and you're right about it is in the Bill of Rights. It's the 14th Amendment, I believe, Section 3, which says that you cannot sedition or treason with people or give aid or comfort to the enemy. You cannot serve in the fucking Congress. So these people need to be tossed.
That's right.
The other thing that's bothering me, I'm doing a little bit, it's time to be critical of Joe now, because ultimately, and I get, again, here's our guy from before. There needs to be a wall between the Department of Justice and the White House. We can't appear to be biased. But you know what, Joe? You can go and say that, that was an attack on our democracy. I have instructed Merrick Garland to find everybody involved with it and lock them up forever. Go do it. Why do we keep bringing it up? Keep bringing it up. Yeah. The president needs to talk about this shit. It's fucking important.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any if the roles were reversed, not that we would ever storm the Capitol our side, but if the roles were somehow reversed, Trump wouldn't be like, whoa, I can't say anything. Forget it. You'd never hear the end of it. If it was a Republican president.
What's June 6th, right? It's been 5 months? Is that right? Or 4 months?
June 4th.
So we're going to get to June 6th. What is it? January, February, March, April.
Sunday it will be.
5 months. And we still have not had a proper briefing by anyone at the Department of Justice about what happened.
Well, Sunday is D-Day, so maybe they'll fucking take it to the Nazis.
You know what? I've not taken any commercial breaks. I realize we've just been talking for 15 minutes. For all of you who are interested in all these things, I'm going to do this. Need to find it here. All right, we'll be right back. And we have lots more, actually, so come back. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Now that summer is almost here and COVID is almost gone, this may be a good time to get some things off your to-do list, like maybe getting life insurance. My mom is really good with finances, and she's always telling me, what about life insurance? It's so important. And I can tell you that Policy Genius is a great place to get life insurance because you can compare quotes from over a dozen top insurers all in one place. Why compare? You can save as much as 50% or more of life insurance by comparing those quotes, and you could save $1,300 or more per year on life insurance by using Policy Genius to compare those policies for you. The licensed experts at Policy Genius work for you, not the insurance companies, so you can trust them to help you navigate every step of the shopping and buying process. That kind of service has earned Policy Genius a 5-star rating across thousands of reviews on Trustpilot and Google. This is how it works. Getting started is really easy. First, you head to policygenius.com, and in minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare personalized quotes to find your best price. When you're ready to apply, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and scheduling for you. Policy Genius never sells your information to other companies, and that means you don't have to worry about your privacy, and they don't add extra fees. Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com to get started right now. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. Now that summer is almost here and COVID is almost gone, this may be a good time to get some things off your to-do list, like maybe getting life insurance. My mom, I don't know what's going on there. There you go. I apologize for that. Too many buttons to press over here. In fact, I don't even want that thing to be playing in the corner, but there you go. So yeah. Wow.
I was looking at some of the comments while we were on break. That was good. And at the idea of Asha being the next FBI director is everyone's very excited about that.
How do we get that happening?
Maybe she needs to go work for Gazprom for a couple of years.
Yeah. Rosneft.
It's interesting. It's interesting because
Deutsche Bank.
The Oath Keepers, now brought to you by the Rand Paul and Ron Paul Legacy Foundation, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, do you know how many times Ron Paul went to Moscow in 2012? I bet you don't know how many times Ron Paul went to Moscow in 2012. Twice. Why would he go there for twice in 2012? And Rand Paul, remember when Rand Paul went to drop off a letter with Vladimir Putin that was handwritten by Donald Trump? Such an interesting thing to fly all the way to Moscow to give a letter to Vladimir Putin. Wasn't even there. And then he invited all the senators to come back, all the Russian senators to come and visit the United States because we really need.
Oh, it was about engagement. You got to engage, strength, project strength. He also hung out with that guy Kosachev, who, according to the Steele dossier, is the guy that was hooking up with what's his nose in Prague. This guy is John McCain said he was working for Vladimir Putin.
And so this is the the that basically birthed
I have a
the
philosophy.
Oath Keepers.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, he did. And for libertarian, which is there's a sketchiness in there as a party. I'm not talking about the philosophy, but as a party, there's a lot of sketchiness in the libertarian. But I also don't get, if you're such a hardcore libertarian and you don't think the government should be involved in anything, then why are we paying you?
Right.
Why are you taking a paycheck? Why are we paying for your flights all over the place? How is that philosophically consistent there?
It's an interesting question.
Why are you serving?
The Onion destroyed libertarianism in 3 sentences like 20 years ago. In fact, after we're done here, I'm going to tweet it because it's so fucking funny. And it just, basically, libertarian reluctantly calls fire department, I think is the headline. And come on. It's so stupid. Also, Ron Paul, libertarian, everyone writes, blah, 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 but except for abortion.
Rand Paul
the most, the government, hands off the government, except for in your, couldn't be more private.
Yes, except for the most important parts of your life.
Then we want the government there. So stupidly inconsistent.
Every time Dr. Fauci is giving any testimony right now, Rand Paul is the guy diving down his throat, making these stupid debates about absolutely nothing. But it's clearly Russian talking points. Everyone says we blame the Russians for everything, but this is clearly like a Kremlin talking point. That's not something that anyone else has any interest in pushing. This vaccine's not working thing. It's just this is basically the Kremlin talking through the mouth of Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci having to take this bullshit when he's there every time. And now, if you turn on Fox News all the time, They're busy saying that it's all about that Fauci knew ahead of time. They found this old clip where they keep playing that Fauci predicted that the pandemic was going to come during the Trump administration. And if you actually listen to the clip, he was talking generically, but they were able to cut it out of context and say, there he is predicting that the pandemic was going to come a year before the Trump administration started. And it's just like the selection of news choices and the things that are putting on the air instead of what the real news is, it's just shocking, really shocking.
Wait, so the guy who specializes in studying pandemics predicted when the next pandemic would come? Get right out of town. Why is that even a thing?
Specifically, in the next administration, they're going to have to contend with a surprise pandemic. Well, which I think he meant, I don't know what he meant, but I suspect he meant the pandemics are coming. It's like saying the next earthquake's coming. The next earthquake is coming. So, it's that
prepared.
kind of thing.
That's why there was an entire pandemic response playbook that was left behind by the Obama administration for the Trump administration so that they would not be caught unprepared with a plan of action should a pandemic hit. So the weaponization of all of this is, and the hard rights, just the right, central right, moderate rights now, moderate Republicans now, going after Fauci with some conspiracy theory, doing this, whipping all this up. They, while also having held on to this thing while 500,000 of us were dying, that it was all a hoax, or we don't need the vaccine, or the vaccine's this, but now somehow this thing is very real. This cognitive dissonance, right, is about making all of us upset. They know they're inconsistent. They know that their base will selectively choose and listen to what they want and believe what they want and just pick. Here's the Chinese buffet of narratives. Pick whichever one you need to fit so you can feel comfortable about your own garbage belief sets, right? That's what it is. It's just a buffet. It's a buffet. Maybe it's more like the Sizzler buffet than the Chinese buffet, but that's all it is. Just pick what you like. You can take the pasta and then you can put the onion rings on it, and then you could put some ice cream in the corner, and then you can put a taco sauce on it.
Yeah, and you can all the olives. You don't want the olives? No problem. Just forget about the olives.
As long as there's no sneeze guard, because sneeze guards that protect the salad are infringing on my rights. Get rid of the sneeze guard. We don't need them.
Get rid of the sneeze guard. We're gonna boycott. Well, you need to protest something because you're so upset about the fact that your older brother is a successful accountant. If you're sitting around staring at your long toenails, then you can put your rage onto the sneeze guard. That's on the buffet.
Every argument they're making is countered by the next argument. So now they want an investigation into the origins of coronavirus. Last year, they were telling us that they didn't even think the pandemic existed, basically.
Let's bring it back around. Okay, so let's bring it back around, Zev, to what you were saying in the very beginning. That was about Donald, right? Mm-hmm. And about his personality of it's just a whirling dervish. So it's so much stuff being thrown at us. So as long as everyone's distracted by continuing to try to handle or manage or report on or respond to their garbage, then we're not doing the important work that we need to be doing, like unredacting the Mueller report and all the underlying evidence and show us what you found in your House investigation into the pandemic response. We're not asking that. We're not talking about that. We're instead talking about the contradictions that
I think that's the big thing is every scandal just covers up the previous scandal. So January the 6th covers up for coronavirus. We forgot about coronavirus because now we've got another thing to talk about. And so that, it's just the descent into chaos. And it's just frustrating and annoying. And no one's doing the work. No one's actually in the meantime investigating what happened in either of these things. And I want to know what Jared Kushner thought, or I don't know what he thought, but what did he do that for? Why did he decide to kill so many people? What was going on in that man's brain? Because I don't see the money trail yet. I know there was money there. But monster?
I don't know.
Yeah, that too. But I know there's
we haven't seen the money.
We don't know where.
We see the money. There's so much we don't. That's discoverable. This isn't mysterious stuff. And okay, let's have the voice now, because we'll have the peanut gallery mansplaining to us that we just don't understand how the Department of Justice works, and if things are in some kind of sealed indictment at the grand jury.
For the forensic accounting, you can't, for evidence to be stolen away, we have to really make sure that we have an airtight indictment. That has to be airtight before the indictment's airtight. You can't move on any thing.
But this is the game. This is the game that they're playing. You know what? Who plays the game better than anybody else? Who invented this game is Rudy Giuliani. He knows what they're doing. They know they can punch this down the line as much as they want. He's the guy who made all this up back in the 80s. He knows exactly how to drag a court case out for as long as he needs to and then let the guy off at the end, as he did with so many bigwigs in the 1980s, including Adnan Khashoggi.
I'm surprised, by the way, that we haven't talked about
a little drop right there. Happened. Good for you, Zev.
Right. Remember that case? I remember that case.
Yeah, I remember that case too. Imagine that.
We have not talked about the biggest scandal.
Sorry, missed that.
Oh, no, you're talking about the money. I don't want to. No, because the biggest scandal of the week,
I just did a side comment to Zev. Yeah. Okay, what's the biggest scandal? What's the biggest scandal?
And I'm still outraged about it. It's because Kamala Harris said, have a nice long weekend. You know, you want to talk about the world ending. How dare she wish me to have a good time on a holiday weekend? That's the first time we can go outside in a fucking year and a half. What a monster. Can you imagine? Memorial Day, the day when all of America just goes to the graveyard and just stays there for 12 hours. I still don't understand what the fuck. I don't understand that at all. I do not understand.
Can I just say something about Kamala? Because I think this woman is taking
fake
on
patriotism. I was at my grave site,
but she has taken on every major portfolio now, and she's not kicking it. Every single thing that she's taken on, she's done really well. And now she's got two more. She's got the voters' right bill that he added to her portfolio. She was just trying to figure out how to stop the immigration from coming from all these South American countries. And she's been doing an absolutely remarkable job, and quietly. But I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of her. I think her year in training has happened, or half year in training, and she's going to be emerging as quite the, apparently, very effective leader, apparently making things happen quite well. And I think people are maybe underestimated her, maybe didn't expect that she would rise to the challenge, but I didn't. I think she's the one to watch as we head into 24. And I don't know who they'll put up against her, but they're not going to win, I don't think. Depending if Biden doesn't run, of course. Do you think he's going to
win? Greg, I'm waiting to see Kamala do what Greg. I can't remember that wonderful woman, Greg, that you had write the article about how she's actually the president of the Senate.
Socrates. That's Socrates. Lisa Kerr.
Socrates.
Yeah, well, she can. She hasn't needed to yet because we won.
Can she kill the filibuster? Can she be the extra vote to kill the filibuster?
I don't know. I don't know the first thing about Parliament. If she can, then she just.
Well, let's bring Lisa back.
We should bring Lisa back. I'm really curious about that, because she was right about that.
Lisa back.
Because they used that. Pence used that a lot in the last administration. Every time they needed an extra vote, Pence came down and said,
this wasn't an extra vote. Her thing wasn't the vote.
We've always done that.
Right.
The issue is that she can say, oh, Mitch McConnell, you're not actually the Senate. I'm the vice president and I control the Senate. Fuck you, sit down. And there's nothing he can do about it. That was her argument, except that we won the Senate.
Right.
So we have chosen, as the Democrats, we've chosen our Senate majority leader, and we've also chosen Mitch McConnell, apparently, because he's getting his fucking way.
Yeah.
You know?
Well played. That's right.
I don't get it. I do not get the Chuck Schumer thing. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to be patient and whatever, but there's not much room or not much time, because it's June. They're going to be around for very much longer in this session, and they're in the elections already. And if everyone's predictions are somewhat accurate, I cannot believe this is true, but most people believe that the Republicans will win back the House next year, and that seems to be the prevailing theory out there, based on just the redistricting alone.
Get ready for this. You can't indict the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, because he's Speaker of the House.
Yeah, he's the Speaker of the House. He's in line. He's in line for the succession. But that's the timing. The timing is really important here. I don't think people are really paying enough attention to the fact that all that Mitch is thinking is just get me to the end of the next session, and then it's mine again. Who knows? That was the House, by the way, not the Senate that they'll win, but who knows what will happen in the Senate. What else should we talk about? We're almost out of time. We might be out of time.
I think we're out of time.
I just wanted to end with something fun. I got something fun here.
I know.
I finally set up your...
good.
But I've got your thing.
Let's hear the ad. Okay, good.
I believe. Let's see if I can get it right. Okay, let me see.
They vanished without a trace, leaving behind no clue of their whereabouts. Follow along with detectives, friends, and family as we uncover the timeline of their mysterious and unexplained disappearance. Missing Persons on the True Crime Podcast Network. This week's episode, Attorney General Merrick Garland. He came into the Department of Justice with a fanfare. He was a champion of truth. He wept at his confirmation hearing. He hasn't been heard from since. Don't miss Missing Persons, DOJ, now streaming.
That's it. That's all. Yeah.
There it is.
Doesn't sound like me, does it? Huh?
It doesn't sound like you. No, it does not
No,
sound
it's
like
a
you.
really good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
That was really well done. That was really well done. I can't believe it's you, actually. And the first few times I heard your podcast, I wasn't paying enough attention. I was like, it's really interesting ad that they got playing there. And I thought it was really I didn't listen to you play the ads. I never listened to the words of the ads. I just thought the crime time things was really interesting. So there you go. You got a future in voiceover work for the cable networks, for A&E or something.
I always do fake ads, by the way, right
for,
at the beginning of the show. I think maybe people just skip it every time.
It's almost needs like a little bit more of going to be funny right here.
It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part.
It's very well done.
Well, we
really
had
well done.
Greg. I'm going to tease a little bit for World Beneath.
Yes.
So I had and Greg. They actually used the other audio, which is interesting. But I had a line, the very famous gangster, that needed read, and Greg gave me a bunch of readings because actually the silent one gave me the first reading, and I'd spent time with him. And if you listen to the audio of me coaching him and trying to get some variations on this line, it's just one line. It was just one line. Do you remember it, Greg?
Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
Wait, what's the word? You stick to your trade, I'll stick to mine. Yeah,
that's the line. And the silent one was giving it, and I did like 11 takes with him. And he gave it the same way every single time. He couldn't hear. It was different.
He did. No, I know. I don't know if he's listening, but I just want to say he did not do it the exact same way. He did not. He did respond to the direction. I think
no. He admits it. He was on the floor laughing when he listened to it because in his mind it was totally different. Anyway, but Greg gave me like, okay, I'll take care of this for you. He gave me like 5 different readings and 5 different voices, totally different. I was like, wow, man. All right. I'm going to find a bigger
talented,
part
this
for
guy.
you.
I'm telling you.
I'm going to give a bigger part for Greg Olear.
What's your dream part in the next season? Do you have a dream part in the mobster world?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't have a dream mobster part. But, I can do New Jersey mobster till the cows come home.
I think you can. I think you do a pretty good job of that. So
really good.
The world beneath begins when? Tonight's show is brought to you by Helix Sleep, and they have a special offer for narrative viewers. I've heard it from so many people. The one thing that's changed since January is their sleep. Not waking up worrying about what the president might have done or said or tweeted makes the world of a difference. I don't think I had a good solid night's sleep in 4 years. And it wasn't only the president. My 10-year-old mattress, which started life as a 12-inch foam mattress, had shrunk to an 8-inch mattress, and getting out of bed was often more of a slide than a bounce. It was time for a new mattress. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for somebody else? Changing the course of a country can take a village. Changing the course of your sleep takes a quiz. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/narrative. That's the way we spell narrative, NARATIV. That's helixsleep.com/narrative for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows just for you.
Really good.
The world beneath begins when?
Yeah, when?
I can't say the date yet. Sorry. There's all these sort of rules. I'm so sorry. I know you thought you get me. It's sooner than what you think. It's sooner than what you think. It's not going to be late in the summer or anything, but it's coming quick. We're going to do a whole thing. There's a whole other package that we're going to let. I just talked to in the studio today that Zev is going to be able to play for everybody. We'll just give it to you, Zev, because you've been
exciting.
so supportive and so amazing. Yeah. So it'll be part of that, and then every little step along the way, there'll be a little bit more stuff. That's just how they want to do it.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be so exciting. And it's perfect for the summer. I mean, I can't think of a better thing to sit and do in the summer, but just listen.
So wait, we should have a contest. And here's this is how we can end on this. Which thing will happen first? Okay. Netanyahu actually leaves. LB's podcast comes out.
That guy.
Wow.
Merrick Garland actually speaks to us. Those are the 3 things. Which one is going to be
I
first?
win.
LB wins for sure. There's no doubt. There's no doubt of that. I am not. I don't think Netanyahu is ever going to leave, but we'll see. There's a coalition there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He's got to leave. He's got to leave. I think it's time. It's time. You can't stay in charge for things like that long. Nobody likes it. That matters anymore. Well, that's a good way of ending the show. And for being here, we'll be back on Tuesday. There's so much other good stuff I keep investigating on January 6th, but I'll fit that into Tuesday's show. And also the Queen has a dinner with Joe Biden coming up soon, which is, would you like to be on fly on that?
How can we not talk about the Queen?
How can we not? We're not going to. We'll talk about it next time. On that note, thanks very much for joining us. Patreon.com/narrative for your donations or otherwise for narrative, or tell us about yours, Greg Olear at Prevail.
Oh yeah, it's Prevail.
At Prevail.
On Substack and on my
okay, there you go. Podcast. And LB's podcast is called The World Beneath.
The World Beneath.
And that's all happening this summer. And that's all we got. So have a great night, everybody.
Narrative is funded by viewers like you. Support our independent journalism at patreon.com/narrative.